In the beginning, we hear a regular message over the phone. That message soon segues into chaos from other sources. Then a girl is possibly writing a letter to her mother. In it, she states she is visiting her dad. That is when we see her walking along a field with a man. She thinks it will take her a few weeks to get there. We observe their environment changing as they walk. The duo seems to be traveling respectable distances. Along their travel, they try to entertain themselves. At night, they sleep in a tent. As they do, someone tries to get inside. It is a lady, saying she's not infected. She wants them to help her, but the man, Harry, pushes her out. In a few seconds, there is an attack on the tent, although it does not continue. The duo seem to sleep safely through the night. In the morning, they pack the tent. At this point, we learn that our protagonists are survivors who seem to be struggling in an environment of infected individual. How the infected came to be, we do not know. Later, they come to a house. Harry looks at a map of where to go. The girl, Lily, tells him to take a risk and enter the house. He gives her flack for making such a statement. As he keeps looking at the map, he soon notices Lily running to the house. That makes him run after her. He sees a man behind him, who motions to Harry for him to get out of the way. Instantly after, the man hides. Harry sees a car coming, causing him to run. He runs to a certain part near the house, where he observes two guys at a distance. It prompts him to scream, perhaps to rescue Lily from being found. The man who warned Harry holds his mouth. He wants them both to go, so they cautiously walk together. Sneaking past the front of the house, Harry sees a lady being handled by one of the guys. He starts running with the new man. Together they observe two infected people rush in to start devouring the lady. Soon enough, Harry finds Lily hiding next to some trees. She asks who the new man is, but Harry doesn't know. At night, he questions what she did critically before sending her inside the tent. Alone with the new man, Harry tries talking to him. After telling him he doesn't talk much, the man motions that he had his tongue removed. Harry is sorry to hear that. The man has to silently mouth his name for Harry to guess it. On his second attempt, he guesses correctly that it's Jack. After that, he introduces himself and says Lily is his sister. They become friendly with each other. On another day, they encounter a house again. Lily says there might be food inside. The scene shifts to them being in the house, searching for supplies. Lily accidentally cuts herself, making Harry tape her injury. Once he does it, a zombie appears. Yet they easily escape him, along with the house. When they appear outside, we notice Jack is not with them. He did not join the party. He was just someone they ran into. In the woods, Lily has to use the toilet. While she does, Harry finds a plant that makes him take out a small book to see what it is. Excited about it, he calls out to his sister, who doesn't answer back. This makes him nervous, but the girl soon shows herself. She walks into a trap right after, and her brother tends to her wound. As he does it, they hear a scary sound. It prompts Harry to get her on his back so they can move quickly. We see a zombie start chasing them. Harry discovers more rope that is connected to a trap. The siblings cross it carefully. Once they do, Harry waits for the zombie to walk into the trap. That allows them to have their safe escape. On a different day, Harry searches in a new area. Suddenly, a man appears behind him and brings Harry down. He wants to know where he came from. The man steps on him while brandishing a hammer. Harry lies to him that he's from a camp that contains about 40 people. When the stranger asks who he should talk to at the camp, Harry tells him the truth about there not being a camp. He is traveling to get to his father. He also offers his apology for lying. However, the stranger wants to end him. Then a boy appears, who is with the stranger. His appearance halts the man from ending Harry. At that moment, Harry says he has a sister who got wounded in the woods. This statement seems to resonate better with the man. He wants Harry to take him to his sister. In a short time, they arrive at the tent. That is where the stranger introduces himself as Carl. Harry calls out to Lily, making her come out. She shows her injury to Carl, to prove Harry was not lying a second time. Following that, Carl says he has a cabin nearby that they could stay at for a few days. Alone with Lily, Harry wants to leave because he doesn't trust Carl with his son, Tom. But Lily tells him she can't walk due to her wound. To that, Harry says the minute she is better, they leave. We soon see the four of them going to the cabin. Lily has to be carried by her brother. The next scene has them entering the cabin. Carl steps Harry outside to remind him that they are leaving as soon as Lily gets better. Harry thanks him for letting them inside. Later, the siblings play a card game with Tom. Carl comes back from somewhere with a respectable amount of beers. He hands one to Harry and even gives his son a few sips. They spend some time playing cards afterward. When it's just the two of them, Harry talks to Carl about the situation they're in. Harry says he was an accountant before. While Carl gets ready to go outside, Harry looks at his hammer on the table. On the next day, he goes into the woods, where he finds the backpack he dropped earlier, so he collects it. Meanwhile, Tom comes to Lily in her tent. He asks to see her wound, but she doesn't want to show it. Then he asks if she wants to play a game. In the subsequent scene, we see them playing catch outside. As they do that, Harry looks at the trap. Coming out of the woods, Harry observes 3 of them in the field. They hear a terrifying sound, and Carl tells them to get down. Shortly after, they start running. At that point, Harry comes to take Lily, while Carl ventures into the woods. There he sees a young zombie girl, who he eliminates. We get to see her lying like that for a few seconds. Eventually, Carl comes back home. He calls out to his son to say they are leaving. Harry also goes with his sister to collect water in the woods. After that, Harry goes alone to knock on the door of another house. In the meantime, Carl comes to the children, who are digging in the woods, and asks Tom where Harry is. The boy tells him he's at the farm. Harry enters the house, which had its door unlocked. Walking inside, he observes a hospitable living space. He finds a picture of Tom. Then he looks at another picture of him with a man who isn't Carl. Harry seems troubled by this. When he goes out to the field, he sees Carl there, who asks him where he's been. Harry lies to him about where he was. At night, Tom takes Lily through a special door in the cabin. From it, they walk outside in an area covered with lights. It delights them to walk there. On the following day, Harry enters another house. In there, a lady comes at him with a pitchfork. He tells her he just wants some food, so she takes his knife away and sits him down at the table. After giving him a tin of food, he says it's Lily's favorite. That prompts her to ask who Lily is, followed by who he is. He tells her who they are. The lady remembers him, since she asks if Lily was with him in the tent. She is the person he did not let enter their tent that night. Harry apologizes to her, saying he had no choice, he had to protect his sister. Giving him back his knife, she wants him to end her because she doesn't want to turn into a zombie. However, the man refuses such a wicked action, but she tells him it's his fault. She also says she doesn't have long and wants him to wait with her. In the next scene, we see Harry passing the kids. They have put together a hut made of sticks. Lily asks him if he's okay, but he just keeps walking until he enters the cabin to think about what took place. Lily soon enters, talking to him nonstop. All he hears is a blur due to being troubled. We see it was the lady who took the knife to injure herself. As his sister keeps talking, Harry loses control, yelling to give him some alone time. With that, Lily leaves the cabin. Harry goes outside with a shovel. He goes back to the house to find a zombie there. It starts chasing him through the woods. Soon he manages to hide from it. Yet upon coming out to see if it's safe, the zombie is still there, continuing to chase him. Harry tosses it back and soon enters a lake. The zombie looks at him there, unable to enter, so it resorts to running away. Meanwhile, the kids walk through the woods. Lily spots something behind a tree, causing them to back away slowly in fear. That is when a man comes behind them, who is glad to have found them. Another man comes out from behind the tree. The first man grabs Lily, making her struggle. He says it's his place, which means they belong to him. It doesn't take long for her to give him steel, placing him on the ground. Afterward, the kids start running away. The uninjured man chases them, whereas the one who got stabbed takes a few seconds to join him. Eventually, Tom enters the cabin to lock himself in there. The injured man locates Lily sitting in a tree. His wound, however, does not allow him to take her. He falls in pain instead. She will have to come down at some point, he tells the girl. In the meantime, the other man attempts to enter the cabin where Tom is. Soon Carl comes behind him, and they start fighting. When the injured man hears a zombie howl, he urges Lily to come down. She responds by spitting blood on his face. Shortly after, he sees the zombie, who appears to be the lady Harry went to. She starts chasing him, but soon enough, he takes out a baton to strike her down. He believes himself to be victorious, but a zombie from behind ruins that thought by claiming him. Following that, Harry returns to the cabin, where he sees Carl and Lily. Carl seems to have won the fight with the man. Seeing his sister drinking a beer, Harry takes the bottle from her. Carl informs him about what took place. Once he's done that, Harry asks him where he was. The man replies that he was setting traps. Harry becomes angry hearing that, because Lily got her injury due to Carl. He realizes that the traps are for survivors, not for zombies, because Carl covers them with mud, which zombies are not capable of recognizing. At that point, Carl lets him know that he wants to keep everyone away from entering his cabin. He comes to the front door, where he notices a zombie outside. Tom turns on the lights, making the zombie run away. Later, Tom talks to Lily about Carl not being his father. Harry listens to the conversation as he sits on the couch alone. Tom also informs her that his mom lost her life by getting stabbed. Upon hearing that, Harry becomes alarmed. At an even later hour, he finds a coat that looks just like Jack's coat. He remembers the man, which makes him cry. After that, he looks at Carl for some time. The next scene has him putting on Jack's coat and getting ready to leave. Carl wakes up to call his name. He starts speaking to him, but notices Harry is not speaking back. Due to that, Carl asks if he's okay. Then he asks where the kids are, to which Harry answers they are safe. Since the answer he gave was slightly strange, Carl calls out to them, but they don't answer. He stands up to observe he has been chained. Harry leaves soon after. What takes his place is a zombie entering the cabin. It comes at him while Harry runs outside. Eventually, he enters the other house. That is where the kids reside. He sits looking at his family picture. Afterward, the scene shifts drastically to an earlier time. Harry sits on a couch with his sister. Their hygiene and comfort levels look considerably better. We hear the news being on, reporting on cases of infected people. As they watch it, a loud sound comes from above, making Harry investigate it. Entering a room, he observes his mother turn into a zombie. So he closes the door, telling Lily to stay back while she's climbing the stairs. She insists on wanting to see her mom, but he keeps telling her not to. Back to the present time, Harry walks with the kids. He leaves his bags with them, so he can collect the one he dropped earlier. Near the lake, the kids talk about catching fish, and how long certain sizes would last them. Tom asks Lily if Harry took Carl's life. She says she doesn't know, while Harry stands behind them, hearing it. At that moment, Tom tells her his mom got infected, which is why Carl ended her. After those words, Harry starts leaving with the kids. They come to a boat stationed in another part of the lake. Harry enters it first to see how safe it is. Then we see all of them riding in it. Later, the kids engage in fishing while Harry cries. Lily narrates as if she is writing a letter to her mom. In the end, she says she loves her. It is uncertain what will come next for our protagonist, but it seems like they are gathering momentum to deliver themselves into a safer future.